I mean, I saw the one where he goes to all these Christmas parties and like people are dressed up, like festive, and he's just wearing a full suit.
Oh yeah. Well he. I saw. I was gonna say. I feel like that's his uniform, so uh, it's not that uncommon. The one where he wore the. I think he. I saw one recently because I didn't actually follow him. I just had it was being fed to me just over and over. And it was one where he was just like, I'm just hanging out on a Sunday watching football and I'm wearing beach gear. And he's just like, wearing this uh, beach shirt and some like salmon colored shorts. Speaking of, can we do a
Oh my
little,
God.
can we do a little,
Dude, as a DC native, I can't stand that guy. I can't.
I just think back to a time when we used to think, or what do you call it? When we used to ask the question, "Is he real? Is he doing a bit?"
Yeah,
Now I
I thought
know.
he was doing a bit. I thought he was doing a bit. I'm not gonna lie. I still think that deep down, he's smarter than he acts. So I think it could be orchestrated.
You know what? If he is, then props to him because he's doing what I wish I could do.
He got a career in acting afterwards.
So no one else wanted to partake in the roast fest that is this episode, huh?
I don't understand. What's the
Let's call him out, shall we?
I don't is it pickleball night?
It is pickleball night, so I'm gonna bit of a time crunch.
Okay.
But I believe some people have some um, like Andy's got some prior engagement he must attend to, but I think Aaron will be there.
Okay.
But I'm gonna leave here in about like 50 minutes, so I got enough for a full episode. I probably won't upload it right after, but I at least can have it recorded and saved and ready to go.
What do you want to get into? Anything on the agenda or
I've literally nothing planned, so we're
okay,
already recording, by the way.
perfect.
We've been recording for the last 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes, so everybody got my Tony P arm roll. Shout out. So yeah, so let's talk some playoffs. How much shit have you been given by the rest of the league outside of our league chat? Let's start there. For missing the playoffs.
I think there's a lot of haters out there. Some people that are preying on my downfall, and I think that obviously this is dream scenario for a lot of them. But I think the icing on the cake would be if I were to really kind of suck and win, I have to run the beer mile, lose, win the toilet bowl.
Yeah, right now it looks like you, outside of Jory, probably have the top. Well, right now because of Keenan Allen's injury, recent news. This is when we're recording. Keenan Allen out for Thursday Night Football. So Tony's missing that piece of him. Aaron obviously is gonna start somebody. I don't know who. Oh, he picked up Will Levis. Nice, that'll work. Um, oh wait, he's in the playoffs though. I'm.
Yeah,
Oh, whoops. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think who the other if there's any
Andy.
other injury concerns in the playoff or in the toilet bowl as we look at those matchups. I would say probably Jory is probably the safest out of all four of y'all. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I had the mispleasure of facing him last week, where his new revamp team is, going off for 170 every week. So I'm going to take a special week to try to bounce him.
Didn't have what it takes against a real playoff team like myself, but he's doing pretty well. So good job, Jory.
Yeah, well, we all know Mario that you're on borrowed time, and it's right while it lasts. I know you're talking big right now, but man, you got some tough matches ahead of you. I don't know if you're ready to bounce back. Especially with HN now picking up a new injury. That's the thing that I don't know if you saw that, but he's got a toe issue, so gonna keep him out this week.
Oh, well, I don't have HN in this one.
Oh, sorry, I got confused between the other league that you talk about.
Yeah, we're not supposed to talk about that one though. So just It's okay. I'll let you slide this one time, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, no matchup for me this week, which I think is good. Let the boys get a couple, get a week of rest. I told Justin Jefferson, hey, just get right for week 16. I'm not worried about it. He said he wants to go this week, so I'm not going to stop him. But those points aren't going to count for me. So we'll be ready for whoever we face, whether it be Joe or I'm ready to take another crack at Joe. I think he got my like softest punch, let's say, on this past weekend.
Well, I know there's four other players that might have something to say about that, whether it's just a lot of people once we get in the playoffs, it's a whole new season. Anything can happen.
It's true. It's true. If I was looking back, actually, coincidentally, at last year's results and kind of looking through the playoffs, and both the bye week. I guess you and Aaron both had the bye week last year, and both made it to the finals. So I'm curious if that will hold or if that will. I mean, I don't have. I wish I had more of the league histories from our Yahoo years, because I bet you there was years where that definitely wasn't the case. But I will say I think more than likely that's what it feels like, unless
It all comes down to matchups and getting hot at the right time, right? So anything can happen. And then obviously there's been a issue that I have to get off my chest is the manager efficiency. I think I took a crown this year for the least efficient manager. So sometimes, people get to the playoffs and they try to galaxy brain, maybe start Carson Wentz in the championship,
it's
and
true. You did
as
win
a
bench of the year last year.
yeah, as someone that has been there, let me tell you that my advice to all the other managers out there trying to do their best, just don't overthink it.
Yeah, I apparently had the worst lineup with a 75% efficiency. So could have had 160. Could have actually won if I had started the right people. But, I don't think I galaxy brained it. I think I followed what the matchup said. And I had Trevor Lawrence and Evan Ingram playing against Cleveland, which normally you'd be like, okay, well, that's probably not a great matchup, especially when Trevor Lawrence was hurt. So I'll take that L. And we won't do it again in the playoffs. So, yeah, I think I don't have any awards picked out, but if I was going to pick a manager of the week, it's probably got to be Jory. He had 97% efficiency, 176 points, possible scored 170. So, um, good job, Jory. I hope you don't get that matchup that you're needing in the first week. Wouldn't it be hilarious if he just somehow ends up in the final, especially with Tony's team down bad right now? I would say.
Yeah, I think he pulled out all the stops to avoid it, and so far it's looking good. But it'd be poetic justice kind of it was fated to be there anyway.
It would be kind of it would be hilarious though, because obviously like the trade he made it to where he was basically just, hey, I'm just trying to stay out of the beer mile, and for it to still end up that way is just, it's almost like what's the point of even trying, right?
I mean, he's got some interesting questions too. He got Nico Collins. I haven't really followed that today as whether or not he's slated to play, but
Yeah, I didn't see if he practiced. Start of the week probably. I'm gonna give it to Andy. He started Zeke, and really he gets it because somehow, some way, the flaw in Andy's game, which is his just favoritism towards Dallas Cowboys players, paid off in the biggest week of the season, where he basically had the number one pickup already on his team. So that was pretty sweet. So 27 points. I still can't believe that happened.
well, I mean, that's just when Ramondre went down, Zeke stepped up and he looked like vintage Zeke. I can't believe the passing upside he had, but Andy, like you said, got to give it credit for grabbing his boy Zeke and CD, and CD's been money the whole year. And I don't know, as someone who's playing him this week, and we both missed out on the playoffs by a hair. I think there's a lot of pride going into this matchup where we don't want to be in that 12 bowl final.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So I think last year, if I recall correctly, I'd have to pull it up, but if I recall correctly, last year Andy did not make it to the final either in the toilet bowl. Actually, he beat Maish in what looks to like the semifinal. Um, yeah, he beat Maish in the semifinal, and Russell lost to Grant actually. So Grant, one of the four teams, the new four teams in the playoffs. Let me see. Before I switch topics too quickly, the bench of the week. I think you know what I'm going to say with this one. You want to tell everybody who the bench of the week was?
Well, I mean, you can argue Brees Hall on my team. Is that where you're going to go?
That's what I was thinking. I don't know who the other argument
But
was.
my
Unless you want to
argument,
save me,
I was going to say you because I had no chance. Even if I started Brees Hall, I couldn't have won.
you wouldn't have won. Okay, so yeah, so let's
So,
give it to me. Benching Evan Ingram, 32 points. Of course, held on to him this long, and of course, the game he goes off, he's on the bench, and I somehow trusted Dalton Kincaid with Dawson Knox back. Should have known better. So
yeah, Ingram without oh my God, Christian Kirk there. I feel like he got a career high target. So
I think honestly he's that's sustainable because like he got crazy amount of work and also like he's the one consistent player that Trevor Lawrence always looks at besides ETN in terms of like a he's gonna get at least 6 targets 7 targets a game, so even if he doesn't score 32, if he's double digits scoring, maybe gets a touchdown, I'll take it. But I think what we can do if you want is we can go through matchups and
yeah,
kind of look at this. I'm trying to find on the website. I can't seem to like see it the way it normally. Oh, here it is. Okay, just
I guess
kidding.
you can hit the standings. Yeah, and then it's a little
I
better.
was in matchup and it was like just showing me the bracket and I didn't know why. So I think it's because I don't have a game this week. Um, all right, well let's start. Let's start with your matchup. We have two and on versus the 089 8289s. 135 132 projection in favor of Andy. What are you thinking? How you feeling coming into this one?
Not super confident because I might roll the dice and not start two quarterbacks. I got some tough matchups, but honestly, anything could happen. And the NFL's been really hard to predict. I think last week was just a micro example of that, but I think it's a coin toss. I'm not going to say that Andy's heavily favored, even though he's got some studs on his team. I just be interesting to see with all these like backup quarterbacks in the league now how some of these games go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his team, and I mean, outside of like CD Lamb, there's no one who I'm really like super scared of. To be honest, there's some good players for sure.
I mean, Kittle
Uh,
against Arizona, that should be. I mean, it's a win.
yeah, I mean, Kittle's so hit or miss though. I mean, uh, he had 16 last week against Seattle, but he also had 10 the week prior. He had 4.9 the week prior to that.
We all
So
know he's capable of a 30-point game. Like
he
he's
definitely
been.
is. He definitely is. But he's also capable of a 1.9 point game or a 1.1 point game, as he's had times this year. So I'm not super scared of him. Honestly, looking at your team, I think the big key is going to be Austin Eckler. Can he do anything resembling an RB1 performance? Also, a low key love kind of player is Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed is he performed on Monday night, but he did really good. The only one I'm kind of questioning is Jamar Chase on the bench. Is that on purpose?
Let's just say we're gonna give Andy a psychological edge up until showtime, and then maybe there might be some last minute substitutions. So
Oh, I love it. I did tell
we'll go
him.
with
I
that.
did. I did show him that he should, if he's gonna use the projections, just to wait till Saturday, so that it actually is like more the most accurate it can be.
well, also just to
But
call out,
still, don't trust the projections all the way.
yeah, to call out to some managers that might not be aware. This is a weird week as far as games go. I think there's Thursday night game, three Saturday night games. Obviously the main slate, and then there's one Monday night football game. So we got a lot of football kicking off a little bit unusual time.
Oh, good call. Yeah, for a reminder for all the managers, there are Saturday games, so don't lose your final or semifinal playoff game for not starting a guy or forgetting it's a Saturday or whatever. So don't say we didn't warn you, right? Final projection for me, I think you weasel your way out of it and win. Let's go 145, 120. Comfortable victory.
Okay, that's yeah. I don't think I'm scoring 145, but I'll take it.
I project at 132. A couple people could go off. I like Trey McBride. Um, I think Ford could have a good day. Miami is crumbling before our very eyes, so a lot of good upside there. So let's go to the other beer mile matchup. So Andy, in my projection, is going to the beer mile final, and who's going to face him? Curious here because Jory has his rocket ship of a team. We'll see about Nico Collins. Looks like he missed practice on Wednesday. Let's see. No Gino. Zach Moss on the bench. Okay. I guess he knows something I don't. Yeah,
Well,
Keenan Allen's out, so
they're
he'll have to
getting
put
shuffled
somebody
now
in.
that Keenan's out. Yeah, so I don't think this is the final matchup from Tony or the lineup we'll see from him. But he's got one day
I
to
would
fix.
put, if I was him, one adjustment I would make is probably bet on Geno Smith and Tyler Lockett. They're playing Philly. I know on paper it looks like Philly is like you don't want to go crazy on them, but I mean they scored like 35 points on Dallas. Like they can put some points up. And
Gino might not play though. He still hasn't practiced.
Geno,
Yeah,
Geno, I understand, but even then, Tyler Lockett. I mean, what did he do last week? He actually had a decent game last week, didn't he? Yeah, he had 14 points, 6 targets, 81% snaps. So definitely would put Lockett in favor of Keenan Allen, and then maybe add Zach Moss in there too. But probably an uphill battle here. I know I joked about Jory losing. Let's see. Based on everything else, I'll let you go first. Who are you picking?
I'm picking Jory. I think unfortunately, even with some question marks, I think he's got a some well-rounded team that is has a pretty high floor. So I think it would take a special effort from Tony to escape his fate.
I think Bussy Latinas puts one good effort out there. One more good effort as in the last game as the Bussy Latinas and goes out with a bang. Give me 140, 136, Tony.
All
Jory
right.
hits the projection right on the money, but not enough. All right. Let's let's go to the playoffs now, and let's go to semifinal quarterfinal number one. This is Aaron, 6 seed versus Joe Wise, the 3 seed. Joe Wise's team, even on a bad week, will put up 140. So definitely gonna need a special performance from Aaron's boys. I know Kenny Walker will be back to full speed. I think he'll get full spread of his touches. Will Levis against Houston, division game. You never know. Is Josh Jacobs hurt? For sure.
Yeah, he hasn't practiced all week. It's going to be a game time.
And it's Thursday. Oof. That's a tough break. Aaron, latest victim of the Gabe Davis experience. Welcome to the club.
And also, like I said, Achan might not make it. So I Man, really limping into this playoff matchup. Hard to feel confident in Aaron's squad, but
We'll see. We'll see if Achan practices tomorrow. I think that's the big one. If it's just tomorrow, then not too bad. But I mean, he's so explosive. I was actually kind of mad at how much they favored Mostert in the red zone last week, given his explosiveness and just he was just way better. He just looked way better. I don't know why they were. I mean, I know why, but I think that's part of why they lost. To be honest.
well, I would blame the defense there, but
No, that's
um,
true. They lost some key pieces as well.
but who
This
you?
Yeah, this one's a tough one. I think if I'm putting money on it, I'd probably say Joe, just because the quarterback edge is there. But Sam Howell against the Rams, that's a wild card. Devontae Smith, that could be a wild card, especially with how bad Seattle's secondary is. I could see him breaking off a deep touchdown on Jamal Adams. Mm, mm. Yeah, Joe's team's really deep. I think what'll come down to it is if Joe makes the right starts, because he could easily leave the wrong players on the bench and just lose because of that, and not because his team's bad. You know what I mean?
I I mean, I don't really see anyone on his bench because he traded away his entire bench for Tyreek Hill. It's not.
Sure,
I
but
don't see
like, okay,
crazy
Bijan.
roster.
I mean, Carolina's defense is, say what you want about their team, but their defense actually is probably the only positive thing on their team. Like they play 20 to 14 games like every week. You know what I mean? So Bijan could be quieted. Minnesota just shut out a team. I don't think they'll shut out Joe Mixon, but they did shut out a team. Tyreek Hill, we'll see if he's hurt. Likely, I'll love to see him do that same thing again. I don't think he will. He could easily have 2 catches and 20 yards. So, not saying all those things will happen, just saying those are things that could play out that way. And then, a James Conner or a Keaton Mitchell snake a touchdown, and then all of a sudden you got 20 points on the bench that should have been in your starting lineup. So, I say all that to say, give me Joe Wise, 149, 130.
Yeah, I think this is a week where we have a potential shootout. Cowboys Bills, and then also the 49ers connection's too strong. I think the 49ers defense is a great start.
Bills won't
Probably,
score more than 20 points. Mark it down right now.
yeah. What happened in the Seahawks game?
They caught him by surprise. Some lucky penalties. DK Metcalf pushed off in that first touchdown. Deron Bland got his revenge though, so I don't think they'll catch him by surprise. It's also going to be at home, and Buffalo. Whenever you expect them to start being good is when they disappoint you the most. So that's what I'm
I don't
banking
know.
on.
I think they're playing playoff football already, so
They
we'll
they
see.
are they are. That's why I'm banking on them to kill New England in Week 16. Uh, okay, so Joe Wise advances to the semifinal, and congrats to Joe for making it to the playoffs after last year, narrowly escaping the beer mile as well in the semifinal of the beer mile. Final matchup is Taylor versus Maish in a rematch of last week. Their projection, I mean, is literally dead even. So now it comes down to the matchups. So, I mean, their teams both have really good players. Both could go off any given day. Uh, hmm. I
I mean, I'm
like I like the Kyron Williams matchup against Washington. I also like, sorry to say this, Amon Ra versus Denver. Although that one could go either way because he's probably going to get covered by Pat the whole game. So it could be a Sam Laporta game.
yeah. I think it's more of the running backs eat, and it's a Laporta game than Amon Ra, but we'll probably get his.
He
Um,
might sneak a touchdown in there.
yeah. I mean, you talk about Kyron Williams, but on the other side. starting Cooper Cup and Matt Stafford. So kind of
Mm,
maybe
nice.
down
That's a
to
good stack. Especially they're
yeah,
starting to gel now. They're starting
yeah.
to find that like rhythm
The
together.
shower narrative is real. The Breakfast Club narrative is back. But I think there's some tough uh, choices for both these players as far as who to start. Like right now has Maichin leaving Garrett Wilson on the bench, which I don't know. He's kind of been a stud, and Maichin's he's got to change something up. He's lost five in a row. He's limping into the playoffs, and meanwhile Taylor has been as hot as almost any team in the league since his rough start. So
True, true,
uh,
true. What did
I
Taylor finish at? Did he? Am I? I guess I don't have this up.
I think he finished fourth, right?
No, no, no. I meant how many wins, or like what was his streak going into the playoffs? Didn't he win like four in a row or three in a row or something?
It's kind of hard to see on web. I don't know.
Yeah, I might have to pull it up on the old app. But yeah, I do know what you mean. I think Maisha's biggest downfall has been just not starting the right guy on the certain week. Kyron Williams goes off, he's on the bench. He starts him the next week, he still does well, but then somebody else on his bench that he sat does just as good. Like I think he had Foreman one week do really well. He had I mean, Pittman is going to get his. Pittman's been cooking the last month. I mean, he looks like literally like the one that everybody said to draft last year, which is funnier because everyone's like, oh, he finally has a quarterback. He's going to be so good this year, and then of course he didn't even do that great. Uh, and he's got Minshew, and he's just still like, yeah, whatever. I'll throw up 20 a game, like no big deal. He's got.
Yeah,
I mean, with outside of last week, he had 20 in his last three games. He has double digits in the last 9 games. He hasn't had a single digit performance since week 4. Damn. That one hurts, especially given where he probably drafted him. He was that was a what drafted in the 11th round by Mish.
yeah. I think it's a very really even matchup, right? Both a lot of studs across the board.
This could go
Uh,
either way, for sure. It's
you
it's.
know,
I mean, good players on both sides. I mean, if you, I'd have to like break it down game script wise to probably bet on it, but I would probably say, given the state of how the two teams have played and just the last 4 weeks, let's say, give me Taylor to take this one.
yeah. I'm gonna bet on Taylor. It's gonna be close, but it's gonna probably come down whose players fall in the end zone because there are a couple matchups on either side where it's the same team. If Kyron gets 3 touchdowns and Cup doesn't, then I can see Maichin taking it. But
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Like he could just as easily go to Maish. I mean, he's got Jalen Hurts going against Seattle. You know, Jalen Hurts is pissed off after getting absolutely fucking humbled by the Cowboys. Uh, Shout out Nick Sirianni. You weren't talking shit much on Sunday, huh? So, yeah, I could see it go both ways, but if I'm putting money on it, I'm probably putting on Taylor. So that means it would be Taylor and Grant going up against each other in the semifinal, and then Joe versus myself, which I think is what everyone kind of thought in that matchup at least. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out this week. I'm excited. We can go into some kind of more general like fantasy news, or I can look up anything else. I don't know if you got any Taylor Swift opinions from her performance on Sunday.
I love all the bad energy that's circling around the Chiefs, and I hope that whatever long game that she's planning comes to unravel very soon, and
I
that
think
she
it's
makes a
already
Super
working. I mean,
Bowl.
because the whole bit was, oh, she's gonna break up with him right before the Super Bowl, before they play the Eagles, and all this is like, well, the Eagles aren't gonna go to the Super Bowl, and I don't think the Chiefs are either. But honestly, I don't know who the hell is gonna make it out of the AFC.
Well, I was gonna say if you want to spend some time, I mean, talking about the real NFL and just give a little bit of playoff predictions there or something. But I just did
Sure.
before all a playoff best ball draft for an underdog and
Okay.
hashtag no free ads. But it was interesting because you have to
Unless they want to sponsor the pod, which in case underdog,
true,
give me a call.
true.
Socials down below.
But it's interesting because you get to like kind of pick players on teams that you think will go far, right? And I ended up with four Cowboys.
Yeah.
I did a Cowboy stack and then a couple Jags, a couple Ravens, no Chiefs.
Yeah, I think it's just really hard to bet on anybody on the Chiefs right now. They give you no reason to bet on them. Even you say, oh, they got Mahomes and Kelsey. It's like, okay, well, they're really not even that dominant, right? Like, there was a couple games last year. Kelsey had multiple TD games. What do you have, like four TDs against the Chargers one week? He's not done that once this year. I mean, you'd be better off drafting freaking Sam Laporta first round if you were taking Kelsey first round. You know, like you're getting more production out of him. So yeah, so I think it's I wouldn't blame you for not picking any Chiefs players. Cowboys, I think the first week will be good. Whoever they play, they should just absolutely maul them. Um, I'm really hoping that Dallas gets another shot at San Francisco. Not saying they're going to beat them, but definitely won't get their ass kicked like they did. They just played a different game back then. I mean, they were just playing a different offense almost.
Yeah, woke Dak up for sure.
Yeah,
You want to
definitely.
do some predictions real quick for
Sure.
week
Here, I'm trying to
Sunday?
pull up the.
I
Let's
have my whole
see.
playoff. I went through and did the ESPN playoff machine.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah. Here, let me do that based on what I think should work. Okay, well that's not how I think it'll happen, but give me this. There we go. Okay, now it's good. Uh, I just did it based on criteria of best defense, and then I just made the Eagles lose on Monday here against the Seahawks. So I have Dallas being the first round bye. I'm not biased at all though. It's totally on the totally
you know
reasonable pick.
I hard to say what's going to happen there. I like that it's going to be an exciting finish in kind of two divisions, definitely with some drama in the NFC East and then drama in the Dolphins and Bills. Kind of could come to a Week 18 matchup to decide who wins that division.
Yeah, for sure. So you want to do AFC first, or how do you want to break that
Sure.
up? Okay, so AFC looks like I have Baltimore, the one seed,
Same.
Kansas City, then
Yep.
Miami,
Yep.
then the Jags,
Yep.
then the Browns, then the Steelers, then the Titans. Let's go ahead and
Uh,
just take
You have the
the.
Titans taking the seventh seed.
I do, I do. Um,
That's kind of wild, but okay.
well, I did it based on I guess the format or whatever the tiebreaker of how they win. I did it based on defensive ranking, and honestly, watching that game on Monday, I don't see why they couldn't. Right, like Will Levis is starting to get very confident playing. He doesn't look scared at all. Like he doesn't look like a rookie. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes, but he doesn't look scared, and he definitely looks better than like somebody like Kenny Pickett or. Um, Even like Bryce Young or somebody like that. I like CJ Stroud a lot. If he has a healthy team, I'd probably pick Houston, but don't really trust Indy and don't really trust Houston without weapons for CJ. So Tennessee looks like the most like likely team to just kind of sneak in there because it's a bunch of hodgepodge at the end there.
I mean, you're missing out some crowd favorites. Obviously, the Broncos playing some of the best football in the league right now.
Yeah,
You have the Bengals, who I would say are surprising teams more than I would say the Titans are, with Jake Browning kind of dealing.
yeah.
Uh,
No, that's fair.
the Bills not making it in that scenario.
They are not, and that is, I guess in this one I have week 15 they lose to Dallas. Week 16 they hold on. They beat the Chargers. Week 17 they lose to New England. Okay, that's not right. They would beat New England. And then week 8 I haven't messed with this too much, and then I think the Bills will lose to Dallas and then win out after that, to be honest. But that may be a little too late kind of thing. Because it looks
Okay.
like, oh, I see. So if that does happen, then they would actually be the 3 seed, and Miami would be out, which I can definitely see, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like Mike McDaniel, love the offense, love the explosiveness, but kind of a poorly coached team, in my opinion. Like just
Oh
no,
yeah.
they don't have a lot of discipline.
I think we're in agreement with our top five. The last two, just a little bit a difference. I don't know. It depends on the health of CJ Stroud for me because the Titans Texans have two matchups in the last 3 weeks. And I think it's kind of
And
hard
that'll
to
decide it, basically.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I have the Broncos getting into the 7 seed. I think obviously the Lions game is tough, but 3 winnable games to close it out.
Yeah, for sure.
You get the 10 wins, which is again I think safe to make the playoffs if you get the 10 wins.
Yeah, I'm trying to see here. Let's just do that. Home team. Yeah, definitely Houston's up there. Honestly, if I was going to say, based on just what I've seen the last couple weeks, take out Pittsburgh and take out. Um,
The Colts,
I'm
or
probably no. I'd probably say add in the Bills, and it's going to be one of those AFC South teams, either Indy, Houston, or Tennessee. One of those teams is going to make it in. Um, I think Denver, they will have a shot, but they're going to play who they play. They play the Chargers. They're going to win that one. They
Patriots.
play the Patriots. They should win that one. And then this one, you said they play the Lions this week. Is that who they're playing?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we go Lions, Patriots, Chargers, Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, this thing I'm pretty sure has them. Okay. So it has them losing. Wow. I got mine all kind of screwed up, but yeah, I think Denver can definitely has a shot. I think I can see them going 10-7 to finish it out for sure.
All right. I mean, obviously it's a crapshoot and anything can happen. So it's gonna be fun. Fun last 4 weeks. Do you want to go to the NFC?
Sure. So for this one, I think it's a little more clear cut. The number one seed, realistically, I think is San Francisco for sure. Then I would say I think Dallas is going to win their division. So one of my shout out to one of my favorite podcasts, The Dumb Zone, formerly of the Ticket in Dallas, new show. They have on regularly one of the former sports talks hosts from Philadelphia, Angelo Cataldi, who used to be on like one of their big sports stations in Philly. And he's like a classic Philly Italian guy, so it's kind of awesome because you would expect him to just be a blowhard and be a real piece of work, but he's actually I would say pretty reasonable and a pretty smart fan from what I've heard of him the last couple of years when he does interviews with them, and when they talk to him on Monday or Tuesday whatever day it was, they're like, so how are you feeling after this game? And he's like, honestly, like terrible. Like we're not good. Like we're not gonna win the division. Like this is not a good football team. And I personally still kind of think of Philly as yeah they got their ass kicked. Dallas was at home. Blah blah blah. Like we'll see in the playoffs. And maybe that's just like broken Cowboys fan, but hearing him say that about them and his lack of confidence kind of was like, okay, maybe there is something to this. Because I think his big thing was like, who are they? Who they can't cover anybody. And I mean, even if you go back to previous weeks where they snuck out wins against like teams like Washington and Buffalo and other games like that, they weren't playing particularly well on defense, right? Their offense is still good, but defense wise, it's definitely their weakness.
Yeah, but I just look at the Eagles. And their last four games are very winnable in my mind. They have the Seahawks, which you could argue is their toughest one.
Mm-hmm.
They play the Cardinals. They play the
The
Giants.
Giants, and then or they play Seahawks, Giants, Cardinals, Giants.
Yeah, so
Which,
I have all four of those games.
hey, I'm just saying, give me Tommy DeVito in week 18 to knock the Eagles out of the first seed, or
Okay.
out of the top spot in the East. I think they will. I think they should win all four games. I don't think they will though.
Meanwhile, I mean, the Cowboys got some tests. They go Bills, Dolphins, Lions, and then close it out with the Commanders. So, um, man, I could see them losing three of those games.
I don't really know. I think if they do, it would be themselves. They beating themselves, right? Like what indication do you have in the last 4 weeks where they played with their food, didn't come to play, weren't prepared, whatever you want to say, like the last, whatever last month and a half, they basically just come and said, "Hey, play at our level or get beat," and they beat the shit out of
Well,
everybody.
I guess well, especially Seattle, right when they got jumped on. But I think that the Cowboys are at home are a different team, and obviously we've had the last month has been a
Yes.
very favorable schedule for the Cowboys, and up until recently, you could say that the Cowboys were good. They beat up on bad teams, but they hadn't really played anyone. And my argument being like, okay, sure, they beat the Eagles, but let's uh let's reassess after this gauntlet of Bills, Lions, Dolphins. I don't I'm not
Bills, I'll give you. Bills, I'll give you. Bills are a good team. They're playing a good brand of football. I'm not sure what the playing surface is in Buffalo. Is it natural grass or is it turf? I think that
I
makes a difference, to be honest.
I think
When they play
it's
on when the Cowboys play on grass, it slows them down, and they're not as good. Which I think that's kind of what makes them so good at home.
all right, Grassgate. It's artificial turf, apparently.
Okay, so I think that plays into Dallas's hands a little bit. I agree with you. They got to show it on the road. Miami, not really worried about Miami. Like they just lost to the fucking Titans with Will
On a fluke.
Levis.
Yeah, on a fluke. I would argue. I mean, without
I
Tyreek Hill,
mean, what was the stat? It was like 780 games or whatever. And the team's been
odd
up
stat.
14. They were up 14 points with 3 minutes to play, and they've all have won except
Technically,
for
it was
one game.
4 minutes and 31 seconds when they got the ball left. But
I
we can argue semantics. I get what you're saying. It's a come from behind victory that was improbable, and now we're going to write off the Dolphins.
shouldn't have lost that game, right? I agree. Miami should have won that game easily. They basically got it handed to them, right? Because they won the turnover battle and still lost, which is hard to do. Detroit, we'll see about that one. That could go either way. Detroit's kind of in a bad way, but they could pick it up. Their defense is kind of suspect. And then Washington on the last week of the year, we'll see where they are. Maybe they don't care about that game anymore, depending on how the standings play out. Sorry, we're spending too much time on Dallas though. So I have Dallas finishing as the NFC East winner, San Francisco number one, and then number three seed would be. Um, Unfortunately, I think it's going to be Minnesota.
What are you getting these? There's no way. After what
I'm putting this based
you and I
on
watched that game together,
I'm
and
putting
you're
this
telling
based
me,
on defensive ranking. Defensive
okay,
ranking is what's deciding the
I'm sorry,
like
but I thought you
matchups. I'm not
you had
going
to
matchup
score,
by matchup.
you got to score points to win a game, and you and I watched the Vikings play 59 minutes of the worst football I've ever seen to win 3-0, and you're
True,
picking
true, but
comeback
they're.
games
I think
in the
it
last
tell.
four.
I think it should tell you something though that they pretty much let Josh Jobs was supposedly the savior and was going to come in, and he played so bad that they were like, "You're done," and they're putting in Nick Mullins.
All
And
right, so you're
honestly,
betting
with the
on Nick
resurgence of the
Mullins.
backup quarterback, I'm not putting it against Nick Mullins to at least do something.
I think you got to look at the matchups and rather than like defensive ranking through the season. Obviously, Brian Flores is impressive what he's done there, and
I'm
the
doing it
defense.
on the fly right now. So they could easily lose to Green Bay. So let's say they lose to Green Bay, and
They
then
can lose to the Bengals this week. I don't think that's crazy to think about.
let's give them to the Lions. So the Lions get the 3 seed, and then we'll flip flop them. So Lions 3 seed. How about that? Lions 11
All
and
right,
6, Minnesota 9 and 8. They lose 2 more games. We'll see though. I think with Justin Jefferson back, they may surprise some people because they started off. What did they start off like 1 and 5 or something? Like they weren't good. They were already being written off as like you should tank and trade Kirk Cousins to the Jets, and yet we're talking about them in Week 15 like they could make the
because the
playoffs.
NFC is so weak. Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to disagree with you on the Vikings making the playoffs. I think their schedule's a little too tough. But who's your
South
who's your
South winner. It's saying Atlanta. I don't really love any of these teams, but I'm probably gonna go with Atlanta just because they won. Didn't they win the last game? Last game
No, they
against.
lost to the Bucks. I thought you were going to spend this whole time talking about how big you're a Baker boy, and it's the
Oh,
Bucks year.
you'll enjoy this. So I got the Facebook, like those like memories or whatever from your past statuses, and I had one from whatever it was 2012 or something when I was in college, and I said, quote. I'm gonna quote what I said because I don't remember exactly word for word, but I said, "Bye bye Baker, won't miss your piss poor pocket presence and scrambles for 3 yards." That man would later go on to win a Heisman Trophy, ladies and gentlemen. So it's okay. You can be wrong sometimes.
No, I get you. I was very low on Baker to start the year, and he's kind of balling out, and so I that's a it's anything can happen. I
It's
honestly have
Rashad White really carrying that offense. Let's be real.
yeah, and Mike Evans, Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
Put some
he.
respect.
I mean, they won a crucial game without him though last week, which is classic Mike Evans. Is he just goes off and then the next week scores like 2 points.
I think those three teams, the Saints, the Bucks, and the Falcons, might have like three of the worst coaches in the NFL. And it's hard to like have really any confidence in any of that. I'm going to go the Falcons. I think they have a easier schedule and a more complete team.
I think
So
so too. And they're starting. I will say to give them a little bit of credit. I think Arthur Smith is starting to realize what if you just use your best players on offense? It's crazy.
instead
Drake London
of
had
Smith,
like 12 catches last week. Kyle Pitts scored a
yeah.
touchdown. Bijan was getting fed. It was weird. It was like, what if we just use these guys? They're pretty good.
Wild concept.
Yeah, that was a wild one. And then fifth seed, I got Philly. Philly will still make the playoffs, obviously. And then to round it out, I got Minnesota and New Orleans sneaking in.
Okay, I have the Packers and the Rams sneaking in. So
I
I
like the
think
Rams pick. I like the Rams pick.
I'm again the Rams. I think the team that I was the lowest on that ended up making the playoffs. They were someone I thought they would be in contention for the number one overall pick to start the year. And Stafford is just look like a baller. And honestly, that defense full of no names, not named Aaron Donald, is flying around playing well. So
I think the only thing that might do them under the Rams is they probably have a win in your in game against San Francisco in Week 18. The crucial matchup also will be their matchup against New Orleans in Week 16.
yeah,
If they beat New Orleans, I think they're in too. So I just went and saw that. So I'll switch them in and add Los Angeles in as well because I cannot stand New Orleans and I cannot stand Derek Carr.
yeah, he's a guy.
I think everybody on his team hates him too.
Well,
All
yeah, thanks
right.
for humoring me. I wanted to get your thoughts there. I'm glad we had a little bit of debate.
No,
On
that was good. What? Okay, so AFC winner, NFC winner, and Super Bowl winner.
man, I'm gonna pick the Ravens. I think that it's they have the most complete team. I love their defense. It's going to be the question of can Lamar not do like Lamar in the playoffs where he kind of sucks and throws picks. But so I'm going to go with the Ravens. And then in the NFC, I feel pretty confident it's going to be either the Cowboys or the Niners. It's going to come down to that NFC matchup. I'm going to go Niners, although they are looking pretty beat up on the defense. So I
Starting to
starts
well,
showing
they're deep
cracks.
though. They're deep, so I
Yeah,
can still see them doing. I mean, I'm not saying they're gonna fall apart.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna pick the Niners just on the eye test from that first matchup this year. But that's my preview is
All right, so Niners Ravens, who wins? Rematch of Super Bowl
40.
47.
Okay, I'm going to pick the Niners.
Okay, so Niners finally break the curse. They've gone longer than the Cowboys in since they won the Super Bowl, but yet don't get any of the rap. I'm doing a bit. Okay, so Niners win. All right, so I'll pick the Chiefs out of the AFC. I know I just talked shit about them the whole time, but
Howard.
they're going to be a 2 seed, and I just have a hard time betting on anybody. Looking at these teams that are in here right now, not
Broncos Chiefs. We beat the Chiefs.
let's say the Broncos are in there. Let's say the Broncos playing first round.
Yeah.
I know they beat them. I think the Chiefs just have that Warriors in them, where when the playoffs start, they just flip a switch. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying they should do that. Just saying that's what they do. So give me the Chiefs to come out of the AFC, and then out of the NFC, I'm gonna reverse jinx and take the Niners as well. So rematch of Super Bowl 51. No, 52? 52 in Miami. Um, and once again, a mysterious call. According to Joe Wise, they had, it wasn't 52, it was 54.
Right.
Uh, according to Joe Wise, they had confetti and what you call it, and fireworks ready for them before they even scored the touchdown, which in his mind meant that it was rigged for the Chiefs. So it's going to be rigged for the Chiefs again, and the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl back to back. So I don't actually believe this, but I'm not going to pick the Cowboys just because I'm not going to be recorded doing that. So there you go. All right, I got to go to pickleball soon. You got any final thoughts?
No, just for everyone out there praying on my downfall. I just hope I don't have to run the beer mile. Other than that, best of luck to everyone not named Mario in the playoffs.
All right, best of luck to all the playoff competitors. It's been a great season. Uh, proud to be in the TCL. We've got some merch coming. I've got some merch designs that Aaron's working up that he doesn't know about yet. And so we'll be selling some merch in the off season to try and fund some points bonuses. Maybe we can do an episode later on where we talk through possible rules changes slash improvements. Maybe like a league committee live. So more to come. Also, too, I want to introduce a mailbag. So if you have comments or other things you want to add in here, drop them in the comments section on the YouTube. And yeah, other than that, thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.